But other than that, also I want to say something to the people who are now just finally hopping on the Mahomes. Oh, Mahomes will never be the GOAT bandwagon because y'all need to relax. Like seriously, you need to relax. He has at least 10 more years left in this league, and he's still a generational quarterback. People now, I'm hearing crazy chatter. People say, "Oh, see, he's not even top three no more." Like people's putting Aaron Rodgers over him, all type of goofy stuff. I'm like, okay, let's calm down here. Let's not be like you said, prisoners of the moment, and try to write him off because he had two stinky Super Bowl performances. Let's not do that because he still has plenty of career left. He's lapping all them other QBs and stats in the playoffs, wins, yards, all of that stuff. If you want to say, "Oh, he's not on Brady level," I agree. He's not Brady yet. He's not Brady. But to act like it'll never happen and that he's just cooked from now, like come on, let's not be disingenuous here because next year it's gonna be the same story. You're gonna be like, "Oh man, I'm sick and tired of the Chiefs. They're so good." It's gonna be the same story. Y'all gonna be crying. He has these devil magic, blah blah blah. But then you gonna utter and say, "Oh yeah, he's not that good." Like what? What are we talking about here? And this is the problem with sports fans. The losers be so ready to pounce on greatness, and it's just a sad state of where we are as sports watchers, where we already ready to dethrone the dude who's been at the top since he's got into the league. Outside of that 1 year against Brady, and that other year where the Bengals and Rams won the Super Bowl, it's insane to me.
I forgot what the saying was, but I remember it was something to the realm of like, you know, I forgot what it was, but to like what you mentioned, we're quick to tear somebody down when something doesn't go right. Like when everything is going well, they're like, "Man, you're the best, you're the greatest we ever seen." But then just one time where they just aren't at their best, they make a mistake, they lose, they play their worst game. It's like, "Oh, you suck, you're the worst, you're not better than this guy. Oh, you were never better than this guy. You're overrated."
You
Like
a
that's
fraud.
how
You a fraud. I'm like, dang.
that's how we look at it. People need to remember Tom Brady went 10 years without winning another Super Bowl after winning 3. It's like we forget that. Tom Brady, his first 7 years, I believe it was, the dude had 3 Super Bowl wins. But in 2007, he lost to the Giants, an undefeated season. He lost to the Giants again, and he lost to the Broncos in the AFC Championship game. It wasn't until against the Seahawks where he finally got the monkey off his back. He finally won that 4th Super Bowl. So we have to wait because we keep coming to these conclusions. Not we, but those people come to those conclusions where, oh my God, he can never catch Brady. Bro, it took Brady 10 years before he got his 4th Super Bowl. So can we calm down? Can we stop this like Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp try to do, where they're like all of a sudden, nah, he can't catch Brady anymore, when y'all were saying, oh my God, he has a case to be to go. Like, can we stop switching our agendas, our narratives off of one loss? Like, the dude is 3-2 in Super Bowls. 3-2.
The man was a game away from completing the first ever three-peat. And now it just don't matter because he stunk it up. Like, what are we talking about here? And now people talk about look at his stats in the Super Bowl. When did we ever start doing this? Like, when did we ever start comparing stats in the Super Bowl? I've never seen that before until Mahomes was involved. They can't do regular playoff stats because he's washing most people. So now we pivoting to Super Bowl stats. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is the most disingenuous argument ever. And I've seen people say, well, if that was Lamar or Josh Allen, they would have got cooked too. Well,
they don't have 3 Super Bowl
rings. Not by people who watch the game.
They don't have 3 Super Bowl rings.
And also only the non-ball knowers is going to blame the QB solely for this loss. The O-line couldn't block anybody.
Literally. That was the game.
Whooped over half of the daggone snaps. Yes, Mahomes had bad plays, but I'm not about to sit up here and say, oh, it's all Mahomes' fault. And just because they do it to Josh Allen and Lamar, that's stupid, man. That is stupid.
Brian, they literally
that is sheep speak.
They moved their left guard to left tackle. They moved Joe Thuney to left tackle, and they have Jawan Taylor at right tackle, who's arguably the worst person on their O-line. So how are they supposed to protect Patrick Mahomes? This was the same thing that happened against the Buccaneers, except he literally was missing majority of his offensive line in that game. And this one, they just put some glue, some tape on it, and they were able to get to the Super Bowl. We got to salute to the Chiefs. The fact that they were able to make it all the way when they was looking very skeptical the entire season. I'm shocked they were able to do it. The fact that they were able to get to the Super Bowl with this offensive line is insane to me. This entire season, from start to about, I would say, before the Christmas Day game, we was like, is this Chiefs team, are they finally gonna not make the Super Bowl? Because they don't look too well.
Skip that, and people gonna skip that.
And then that Steelers game rolls around, we're like, damn. And then the next game rolls around, we're like, damn, okay, now they're playing their best football. And the narrative changed, and then eventually
they had all these other teams above them. They was like, oh yeah, the Bills, they're gonna finally get them. The Ravens gonna finally get them. And then all of a sudden, when they don't get them yet again, now it's like, oh my gosh, I'm sick and tired of this. Like, you literally set yourself up for this.
And I think another thing we also have to pay attention to, we talked about the trenches, but in order to beat the Chiefs, you got to have a loaded roster. Like, bruh, the Buccaneers, the Eagles, look at the positions that they have. Look at the names that they have on the roster. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, that offensive line, that defensive line with Jalen Carter, the back end, you have Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Zach Bond, who came from the Saints, and now he's an all-pro, who's a defensive player of the year candidate. They got all of these dudes. They have all of this talent. The Buccaneers, we can go to the Buccaneers. Shaq Barrett. You have the linebacker position, back when Devin White was a decent player. Levante David, Vita Vea. And then you have the offense, Antoine Winfield. Then you got the offense with Mike Evans, with Chris Godwin, with Tom Brady, Tristan Wirth. They drafted playoff Lenny. Like, come on, Gronkowski was still good. Yeah. Like, come
they
on,
had Antonio Brown too.
And then they had Antonio Brown. Like, Antonio Brown, are you kidding me? As your number 3, that's just unheard of. Of course, they're not going to beat that team. You have to have a loaded roster to beat this team. If you don't have a loaded roster, good luck. Unless you're as clutch as Mahomes, which 9 times out of 10, most of these quarterbacks aren't clutch. Matter of fact, 10 out of 10, they're not clutcher than Mahomes. You better have a loaded roster because you're not going to beat the Chiefs. That's just what I took away from that game. You need to have just a bunch of great players on your team if you want to beat that team. Because if not, you're not going to win. Yes, you need to have the better dude.
You got to make it to where scheme don't even matter for real.
Right, exactly. Because
it's really like, honestly, the Chiefs, if you got to beat them hat on hat, you got to beat them man on man. Win your ones. That's literally how you beat the Chiefs.
Because remember, the 49ers, they had a pretty solid roster, but we have to understand that offensive line wasn't the greatest. And
Dre Greenlaw towards Achilles mid-game.
Yeah. And I want to say Ufunga was hurt too. He got hurt.
I think he was out for the season.
Yeah. So they were missing their top defensive players. You got to have everybody there. You got to have your top dudes there. If not, you're not beating the Chiefs. And the Eagles had everything perfect. Everything perfect was set for them. And they was able to capitalize on it. And Jalen Hurts, he plays well against the Chiefs. It's a great matchup for him, and he was able to exploit that Chiefs defense, and they won the game. So, salute to them. I got nothing much else to say besides the fact that now